increase her employment, each time that she, dives into something. And so she has an offer from them to participate more fully. And so she's trying to navigate being a professional basketball player, which she really wants to do, as well as this really cool opportunity. So, a unique situation presented, obviously LA is capitalizing on some of these, these opportunities where players don't want to play in their respective teams. I think there was a lot of chatter about what they got for Chiney. Those are difficult things. You lose your leverage when a person says they won't play here, I'll only play in this place. And we've seen that in our league. What needs to happen is we need to change free agency. I think when free agency changes and players can have more control of where they play, you'll see less demands for change because they're going to be able to choose those places. And that situation was exactly that. We've seen it. Elena Deladon, Sylvia Fowles, we've seen it. Liz Cambage, who to this point has been unable to get where she wants to be. So, Connecticut got a first-round pick for Chiney. That's probably about as well as they were going to do. It probably loosened things up for them from a free agency standpoint for 2020. I know they were very concerned about that number of contracts that are going to be coming up. So maybe in some ways they got a head start on that.
Now let's talk about the WNBA president and how she's going to work out.
The WNBA president. Well, I don't know. Did Adam Silver actually mention, he said before the season start, did he mean the training camp or did he mean May 25th?
NBA season,
wow. So it's a difficult task. I think, the vetting process, to be the WNBA president is quite lengthy, apparently.
You could do that too, coach, GM, president.
Yeah, no thanks. And have all of you yelling at me all the time. No, just part-time's enough.
We're going
right?
to yell at you anyway. So.
Yeah. No, I think it's disappointing. I went on record before about this, that I think this isn't that hard. We lost our president in November when Lisa Borders resigned. It does not take that long. Adam's comment is that he wants to get it right. I don't think it takes that long to get it right. I think you have to take a deep dive into it, and you have to put the NBA aside for a little bit. You have to really be committed to if you really want to get it right, you have to, make it a priority, essentially. I said this before. I think having a goal when someone resigns in November, your highest position, and then your goal is May, so 6 months later, that's the same as having a goal when you're in a 12-team league, that the goal is to make the playoffs, when 8 of them make it. That's not a very lofty goal. That's what we changed when we came here. The goal before we got here, the mindset was just make the playoffs. Well, there's a better than 60% chance, almost 70% chance that you're going to make the playoffs. And so I equate that same thing. It's not a lofty goal. I want Adam Silver to have much loftier goals when it comes to the WNBA.
Do you have any insights or names you would add to that to the debate? Do you have any thoughts on who should get it?
And this is interesting to me. I don't. We have tremendous resources with our franchises. We have a number of COOs, VPs that have been involved in the league for a long time. Those resources are not utilized when it comes to deciding what the league needs. Honestly, I have no idea. I have a low level of confidence in this process because I don't think that the right players, not meaning players, but the group that should have a say, they have no idea what's going on. And, to this point, I haven't even heard any leaks. I know Lisa Leslie expressed interest at one time. I don't think that gained any traction.
Yeah.
Thankfully. I would have had to go to the NBA if that would happen.
So you and Lisa Leslie are not close, is what you're saying?
We're not. Goes back a few years, Detroit Shock days. There's some Detroit basketball. Plenette and Carly.
Anything specific you'd like to mention?
Oh, it's just, I think it just goes, we just don't have a lot in common, the way that we see things. We just don't have a lot in common. And that's okay. I think the world needs that.
It seems like, given the fact that attendance seems to be growing, certainly TV ratings are up, now you have the CBS deal, it would seem to be an attractive job because the person coming in might be riding a wave.
Yeah, I think so too. That's why I think it's important that we get it right, because we need someone that's going to be able to go to Adam Silver's office and rattle the cage a little bit, not be fearful of what the retribution would be. I think that's really important. I think we've had that. There's a certain climate in New York that concerns me, and I think that if you look at what needs to change is at the very top, and I think if we have that and we empower the president, to capitalize on this momentum that we have. This is a tremendous time, I think, to be president of our league, and I think Adam recognizes that. So, fingers crossed to us getting it right and putting this person on top of the wave, and let's see how long they can ride it.
We talked about it on the podcast last week, but we might have some people here who didn't hear that. Just, if you would, tell me what you think of the TV deal and what could it do for the league.
Well, I think, any successful sports league has TV sponsorship, right? So we know we've got the ESPN deal. We are thankful for that ESPN partnership, though it's 3 times less than what soccer got when MLS came to, this is what we're taught. We're taught to be thankful. Don't say too much. You might lose it. It is important that we have that deal, but I think that deal needs to grow. And then CBS Sports Network, we're going to double the coverage of the WNBA, the ability to have eyes on the product. That can only serve to grow the business. It creates more interest, right? With more interest and people can see it and get attached to it, maybe sponsors get on board. So it's a tremendous thing to be able to expand the coverage. And we got to keep pushing for these things. My understanding, it wasn't a difficult conversation. I think Dan Denenberg from the NBA side rang up CBS Sports Network and said, let's do this. And they said, okay. And that's my thing. I think it's out there. I think there's interest out there for people to get involved. We just got to make those connections and bring them on.
I think I know the answer to this. Are you a Game of Thrones fan?
I'm not.
That's right.
I have no idea what any of that's about.
It's almost too bad because there are some storylines that I think you would really enjoy. Yeah.
What happened last night?
Let me this way. The last 2 big battles that have occurred in Game of Thrones, the women have come in and saved the guy who just didn't know what he was doing.
You're darn right. Yeah.
It's just facts. It's just what happened. It's like Jon Snow is like the main character in a lot of ways, and he's very brave and he fights well, but God, he has stupid plans, and somebody's always got to bail his ass out. It's pretty funny, actually. One thing I wanted to talk to you about, we didn't get to our last couple shows because we had so much news to talk about. The Muffet-McGraw conversation and comments at the Final Four. She basically said, hey, I'm not going to hire any men. It's time for us to reward women, promote women, because as we've talked about before, so many men now are coaching the women's game. She feels like the way to counterbalance that is to hire women on her staff. I'll throw it open. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's a valid point in that what she's trying to shine a light on is exactly what you just said. We don't have enough women coaching in the women's game. There are more men coaches of women than there are women. Let alone we have no women's coaches on the men's side. And so I think she's just trying to bring attention to that idea, and that in order to change that, we have to maybe lock in on bringing more women in and creating those opportunities. And she wants to be one of those ones that do that. I think the bigger picture, though, what she would be in favor of is to have men coaching women's sports and women coaching men's sports and have the opportunities to be the same on both sides. I think that's ultimately what she's after, and that's the point that she's making by taking such a big stand to say that she would never hire men. I've hired men through the years. I certainly want to give women opportunities, and we do that. But I haven't gone so far as to say that I don't. I think diversity of thought is really important, and I think you get that when you have both men and women. But I think it's important that the NBA recognizes that, or men's college basketball recognizes that. This is not a one-way street. That diversity of thought is good on the women's side, but not on the men's side. And I hope that Muffet's comments brought light to the real issue that we need more women coaching. We need more opportunities for them.
Kathy is going to walk around with a mic. Feel free to ask live questions anytime. Glory, why don't you pop up here when you get a chance? So just raise your hand. Kathy will find you. She'll find you upstairs, too. You might have to yell at her.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm glad that table left over there.
Yeah, that was a little disturbing.
You got it. Coach, thanks for doing this. I've got a question for you. In light of the vacancy left by Lindsay and Maya, who's going to be the on-court leader for your team? You had an amazing offseason. Congratulations picking up what you did. I'm excited. I think all of us are excited about the year coming.
Thank you.
Who's going to take the lead in moving forward with that?
Yeah, I think, it's been well documented through the years, the core group of leadership that we've had. And, you take out 3 of the 4 pieces. And so, or I should say 2 of the 4 pieces. Sylvia Fowles for us has been, a leader without actually naming her captain. And so what we have at this time, our mindset is Simone, Sil, and Danielle will take on leadership roles on the court. I think we have a natural leader in Karima Christmas Kelly that I'm not going to have to name her a captain for her to do the things that she wants to do. And so I think, we'll continue to have it, sort of by committee in terms of leadership. But I also will tell you that I think we have to learn a lot about our team. I'm really confident in those three and making them the voices. And then again, add Karima in there. I think the rest of it is going to be, we have some young pieces that don't know which way is up. And when it comes to Sunday, where do you see them? Look like they've never played basketball before, I'm sure, on Sunday. But it's kind of a new process for us to really identify on the court who's going to be doing what. We already know what Sylvia Fowles is going to do. You know what Simone's going to do. I'm really excited about what I think Danielle's going to do. I know who Karima is, but how it works together in this group is something that I think we're all going to learn this together. Thanks for your question.
Thanks for the question. Appreciate it. We'll continue to do live questions. Just raise your hand. But we want to say hi to one of our sponsors, Gloria Ramsey. She runs Successful Marketing Group, successfulmarketinggroup.com. And we run ads for Gloria all the time, but I think she's probably her best advocate. She can tell you how, she can help you as a small business. She can help you get found. She thinks like a writer. She thinks like a marketer. And she's been great to us. So not only if you're out there listening and you need your business to kind of help, reach out to Gloria. But if you're here, this is a great chance to meet Gloria and chat her up. Gloria, I'll just let you describe your business and the way you go about things.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to say congratulations on an awesome off season. I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm super excited about the members that have come on board and team. I think maybe some of us were like, oh, okay, this is a rebuilding year and hopefully we're going to get some good stuff. But I think we are coming out of the gates pretty serious. Yeah, all right.
And as you can tell, Gloria's a fan.
I'm pretty excited. I'm sure you guys are too. So, and thanks for everybody who's came out here tonight. Thanks for your support here. I'm really proud to be a sponsor of the podcast, and I hope that you all are enjoying it and as much as I am. And as far as my business, I can help you guys. If you're a business owner or a manager of a local business or a multi-location business, digital marketing is really just marketing today. So it's not even, if it's a question, it's a necessity, and especially for local businesses who have to be found on Google. So I don't want to bore you with a lot of that stuff, but I would really love to help you. Anybody who wants any help, just please come by and talk to me. If something works out and we can work together, great. But if not, you just want to talk, I'd love to talk about it. So. And,
I'm having trouble finding the promo code right in front of me. It's Links Coach Reeve. Is that right?
Actually, that's Shelley's.
That's Shelley's. I always get the two mixed up. My notes are confused here.
Mine is the other one you have a problem with. It's Successful Marketing Group / Cheryl
Reeve. Thank you. Yes. So if you go to Successful Marketing Group / Cheryl Reeve, Gloria will walk you through a 45-minute action plan, how she can help your business. I finally got it right.
Thank you so much, Gloria.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Appreciate your support.
Any other basketball thoughts?
Basketball thoughts. Is it May yet?
We're getting there. We're getting close.
I know. I can't wait.
Thanks so much, Gloria.
Thank you
we
very
appreciate
much.
it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
So I first became aware of Kim Mulkey, I think back when Baylor was facing Lindsay and her team. And she is quite a character. And she spent today with her team at the White House. Do you know Kim, and do you have any opinions on her as a coach or a character?
I'm going to date myself a little bit. Kim Mulkey, for me, was who I watched in the Women's Final Four when I was a youngster. She had these braids on both sides. She was tough as nails. Everything she is as a coach, I know she was as a player. I don't know her personally, certainly through the years, drafting players. I've watched a ton of Baylor basketball. You'll see, I think New York Times is doing a story about the visit to the White House that Baylor was able to get, but the links
You missed out on all those Big Macs.
We didn't, yeah, right? All those Big Macs. So the Lynx, the Storm, the Sparks, South Carolina, Notre Dame, none of us got invites to the White House, but Baylor did. And so I questioned sort of what are the qualifications? What is this, just kind of fly by night? If we align with the president's values, that somehow we get an invite, and that's sure what it looks like. It's sure like it's like a political statement that was being made, and I can't fault Baylor for going. I'll kind of leave it there. I don't know a lot about the Baylor people, but it's what champions do, and we should all get that opportunity. This has been going on since the 80s. And in our league, in the WNBA, every champion has been invited to the White House by every president, all the way up until this president. So we'll see what happens maybe in the 2019 championship.
Well, you also might have noticed that after the draft, the president congratulated not the number 1 pick, who won the Heisman Trophy and is going to be an immediate starter, maybe an immediate impact player in the league. He congratulated the number 2 pick,